So everyone knows my thoughts and opinions on eXp Realty and how it's benefited myself and everyone around me. Today I'm going to let someone else share their story on how eXp has been great for them. So today we're joined by Kate Little, a friend of mine who is with Laura and Kate Homes. She's been with eXp for a year now and is here to kind of talk about the ups and downs, all the good and the bad and the ugly of being at eXp Realty in the last year. So thanks for coming to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I figured we'd start by giving a little background on who you are, how long you've been in the business, what your business kind of looks like. So feel free to give us your elevator pitch.
So I have been in the business for 6 years, and Laura and Kate Homes has been around for 2.5 years, and we started our career at another local brokerage, a brick and mortar, and now we have merged to eXp, and we are thrilled to be here. And we do most of our business with friends and family, personal referrals. We pride ourselves on being moms and business owners, and we are thrilled to be a part of eXp and happy to be here today.
So it's interesting, we've been in the business for about the same amount of time. We came from the same brokerage. Like, what made you and Laura want to join eXp? What made you even intrigued by the idea of moving from KW to eXp?
Yeah, so one of the main driving factors behind our move was COVID. You know, COVID really shifted business for us and opened our eyes to what direction real estate is going, and we wanted to get ahead of the curve by involving ourselves with agents around the nation and expanding our mind to the more tech-forward ways of real estate. And so that was really our driving factor in being here.
It's certainly a good place to be because everyone there is so collaborative, cooperative, and they're very progressive in the real estate space and trying to get one step ahead of everything that's going on every day.
Yeah, actually, when we were in the interview process, we interviewed 5 different brokerages, local and nationally, and we ended up settling with eXp mostly because of the collaborative efforts that we felt. You know, we were on the phone with Andy in an interview, and he spoke to us a lot about upline and sponsorship and the weight that that really holds in your business at eXp, and we have found that to be so true.
You genuinely do get out of it what you put in.
Absolutely, and you don't realize though that your sponsorship is your home base. It turns into your brick and mortar because they're the people that are the most willing to help you. They're the most, because they benefit from your success. So we didn't weigh that as highly as we should have been weighing it until we spoke to Andy. We actually interviewed with 3 other uplines in eXp, and getting involved, Andy said a phrase that really stuck out to us, that was being a little fish in a big pond versus being the big fish in the little pond, and that has reigned true for sure.
Yeah, and it ultimately, aligning with the right people gets you access. It gives you access to rooms that you never thought you could be in, to coaching opportunities you never thought you could have, and to ways to grow your business and a mindset that's way bigger than most people would ever think. So what would you say, obviously you've been here for a year now, are like the biggest areas of growth that you've seen, whether it's in business, personal life, your team, anything? Like, where have you noticed some of the biggest areas of growth?
I think it's challenged our systems and processes the most. Coming from our previous brokerage, it was more of a traditional type thinking where these are the 10 steps that will take you to being a successful real estate agent. And we have really expanded and realized that there are tons of ways to reach success. And that is something that has really stuck out with eXp.
There's no one way to do it. And it's interesting too, because now that instead of being stuck to a brick and mortar and just one office, you now have access to all these people all over the world who have no reason to not help you when you need help. You've obviously made it through a full year at eXp, so what does like the next year look like for you at eXp, and what's maybe the next 5 years look like?
Yeah, so when Laura and I first created L&K Homes, we talked about what our 5-year plan would look like, and since joining eXp and since being in coaching, we've had to adjust our thinking and expand our goals to reach higher levels. So not just in units and volume goals with which most real estate agents have. Our number one goal now is to simplify our processes and streamline them so that if we go out of town, the real estate phrase that everyone says is, hey, you're not busy, go out of town, you'll be busy. So we're trying to void that gap so that when we are out of town or we're taking time away with our families, that there is someone else that can step up in our place. And I think the other thing too is that we've shifted our mindset from being just real estate agents to being business owners. And that is something that we started when we joined eXp. It's not just how great of an agent can you be for your clients, but how can you build the longevity in your business and build out the best business you possibly can.
Okay, so I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. So there's been a pretty common theme to some of the things that you really like about being at eXp that you and Laura are really benefiting from, but what would you say is like the most impactful piece of being there?
Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like the most impactful thing for us has been the access to the variety of people all around the country that are willing to help. And I really do feel like that what you put in is what you get out. So we are putting in as much as we feel like we're getting out. And I think in the very beginning, we felt like we were kind of on this lily pad in the middle of this huge pond and we weren't sure where to go. And I think once someone jumped on our lily pad and kind of started guiding us through, we really figured out all of the opportunities, all the different events, and all the collaborative efforts that really exist inside our upline and inside of eXp as a whole.
It paints this picture because it's true. You think like you go from a brick and mortar to a virtual brokerage and you think, oh, I'm never gonna see anybody, I'm never gonna get any help. It's so big that I'm gonna be just a number and get lost here, and it's the complete opposite from that. But you have to plug in.
Yeah. Well, that's true anywhere. I mean, when I first joined our previous brokerage, I had 2 deals in hand and I didn't know who to call. I didn't know where to find the forms, and they say to join, this brokerage is known for their training, and it was a great training process when I was there until you had a deal. And then I had this deal and it was very complex and I didn't even know who to call. And now that I'm involved in eXp and Laura and I have really elevated our business to this level, it almost seems silly to think back to those moments. I mean, that was one of my largest sales ever, and I didn't even know where to find the offer to purchase.
So last question for you today, and I do really appreciate you being here. And before we get to this last question, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. It's a huge help for our channel, and obviously we're gonna be pushing out Laura and Kate homes, and really appreciate Kate being here, and we'll be sure to get Laura on here soon. But last question for you. What is like the one thing or any big regret from moving over to eXp or that you've just thought of in the last year?
Yeah, I think when I was first approached with joining eXp, it felt a little recruity to me, and I think that connotation kind of stuck with eXp for a little while until I really dug deep into what eXp was all about and what things eXp could do for our business. And yeah, my only regret is not coming on sooner.
So please be sure to follow them on Instagram. Their handle is right here. It's LK Homes, and you will not be disappointed. So thank you again for showing up, and I really appreciate you telling your story, and look forward to seeing you at the next eXp event too.
Yeah, thanks for having me.